We'll do it again. Okay. Hey everyone, I read 25 books in July and August. This is my top 10 in under 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy. Starting with number 10 on this list, If I Never Met You by Barry McFarlane. I gave this contemporary romance 4.25 stars. That's right, I loved it so much. I buddy read it with Nell Diamond and Danny Dabbles, and all three of us were really impressed by how complex this romance actually is. It follows Lori, and her life is perfect at the start of the book. At least she thinks it is, until her long-term boyfriend breaks up with her and she is completely blindsided. It seems like he's been planning this for months, and that really harms her own feelings of trust. Can she open up to another person again since she can't even read a boyfriend that she's had for 10 years, on top of the fact that they work together? To try to kind of fight back this feeling of wanting to get back with him and also having a bit of self-pity, everyone talking about them, she decides, let's start a fake dating relationship with the bad boy of the law firm, Jamie. He needs help in proving that his image is better than it actually is. He needs to up his reputation so that he can have this opportunity for a promotion soon. So the two of them decide to make this deal, and it was just so much fun. There were times that it was really heart-wrenching, other times where I was laughing aloud, and I just was rooting for Lori the entire time. The only issue that I have with this book and why it wasn't a 5-star was the ending. It fell into what I'm assuming is some romance industry tropes, some pressures to wrap up very quickly, and it just felt disingenuous. This happily ever after was so cookie cutter. And yeah, a bit disappointing, but I would totally read this author again. Number 9 goes to Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. This was my first experience with this author, and it will not be my last. I also gave this 4.25 stars, and it is very much a camp horror that provides a lot of social commentary on the horror industry and where queer people sit in that industry. Do they have a place, and can they find happily ever afters? I really loved how the director was seeing his own horror monsters chasing after him, stalking his friends, and him realizing that something bigger is going on and they need to get to the bottom of this before they become his own monsters' victims. I was a little bit disappointed by how cheesy the book got at times. It's very Hallmarky. However, I can see where some people would just be eating that up and really appreciating the lean into this idea of happiness needing this kind of community and ending for queer people. So I totally understand where I was coming from, but I just kind of wish it wasn't as Hallmarky as it was. With that said, one thing that I was surprised that I liked was the predictability of this. I could see the ending very clearly. I could see what was going on, why these monsters existed in the first place, and I was okay with that. I feel like that actually leans into the idea that horror industry, horror franchises are meant to be predictable. That's why we have tropes. That's why we have character foils. We just know what to expect, and there is comfort in that. So I didn't mind that, and that's why I gave it such a high rating. Number 8 on this list is Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 4. I have Brittany Loves Reading to thank for even introducing the series to me, and it has been such a joy. I love the fact that we are leaving the Dinosaur Sanctuary, leaving the creatures that we've gotten to know and love, and seeing these trainers go off on a hunt for a velociraptor on the loose. I just thought that it was such a fun setup, and we got to see the characters in a very different light while still trying to catch but protect this velociraptor from itself and prevent anyone from getting harmed. I think it just shows that this is a very dynamic series, and I can't recommend it enough, especially if you love dinosaurs. I think it's the wholesome side of Jurassic Park, and I think that's what we needed. Oh, I also gave it 4.5 stars. Because it's great. Number 7 on this list is Agatha Christie's Midsummer Mysteries. This is a short story collection that I finally had the motivation to read thanks to Kirsten from The Reading Nymph. I saw that she was reading this and I was like, you know what? I need to get this off my TBR. I don't know why I've waited for so long, and it was the best decision. I'm giving this 4.5 stars. The collection was just the perfect way to end a day, to start a day where I just needed 20-25 minutes of calm reading. And I also love the variety in these pages. We follow short stories that go from Poirot to Miss Marple, Parker Pine, Mr. Quinn, Tommy and Tuppence, all of our favorites. And I just found it a very nice, calming experience that I really needed during August. I needed a restful August, and that's what this collection did for me. Next is The Highland Falcon Thief. This is a middle grade mystery. It's the first in a series, and it follows our young protagonist, Hal. He joins his uncle on the final historic journey of a royal train, the Highland Falcon. On board, there are so many different characters with secrets and mysterious reasons for being on the train itself, but there's also a thief on board. Jewelry begins to go missing, and a finger is pointed at someone that Hal knows cannot be the culprit. So he takes it upon himself to figure out who the thief actually is before the train reaches its final destination. I was so impressed by how complex this mystery was. There were red herrings, there were so many clues, there were some great drawings in here too, and I can't wait to continue the series. I gave this 4.5 stars, and I actually have book 2 on my Libby right now. I'll have to read that soon. Breaking the top 5 with a 5-star read is A Cat from Our World and the Forgotten Witch Volume 2. I'm very early on in this series, but I'm already certain that I'm going to want to reread it because I am obsessed with the dynamic between our elderly witch, Jean, and her cat beast, Mew. Mew comes from our world, and he was summoned by the elderly witch basically to gain a protector. She lives in this world of kingdoms and monsters, and she also has a legacy of protecting the kingdom. However, the kingdom seems to have forgotten how important she was, and now she's an outcast. She's actually been deemed a threat, and there are assassins coming out to get her, hence why she has her cat to protect her, and he does a good job. What I can say about Volume 2 is just that we gain a couple additional characters that just made the story, and you can tell that this is going to be a found family theme. I'm pumped to keep going. Look at him, he's so cute! 4th on this list is The Road to Roswell by Connie Willis. I'm giving this 4.5 stars. I know that that doesn't make sense when it comes to ratings because I just gave the last book 5 stars, but I truly loved this book so much even though it's not perfect. And it's a low-stakes sci-fi road trip following Francie. She's on her way to Roswell to stop a wedding. Her best friend is going to be marrying this UFO fanatic. She knows that that should not be happening, but while she's there, Francie gets abducted before she can stop the wedding, and now she's on this road trip with an alien they have named Indy. With her and other abductees along the way, they become this band, and all their goal ends up being is to actually help Indy, help this alien to do whatever he needs to do to escape the law as well. And it's just a hilarious romp. I found it so wholesome. I laughed aloud with the audiobook multiple times, and it was very sweet. What can I say? I could totally see myself re-listening to this as well. Then we have The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. I read this during my Can We Trust Brie vlog, and I had such a great time. It 100% deserves a 5-star, and I'm still shocked that this was a debut novel. This follows a large cast of characters as they deal with the new reality that is the strings within their boxes. One night they all wake up and find a string in a box with their name on it, saying that this string is connected to how much longer they have to live on this earth. It ends up creating this huge wave of disorder between interpersonal relationships, larger community issues, as well as global issues as governments begin to interact with these strings through laws, policies. Companies are reacting in ways that are detrimental to people's health as well. And it was such a whirlwind. There were so many philosophical questions asked in this book, and I cried. It was great. What can I say? I gave it 5 stars. Highly recommended for those who are big fans of Emily St. John Mandel. Number 2 on this list is Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grand. This is the pseudonym for Shauna Maguire, and I am so impressed by this book. It is basically Jurassic Park, but replace the dinosaurs with mermaids, and I again have Brie from Four Paws in a Book to thank for this book. I really loved how thoughtful it was as far as criticisms with climate crisis, with our interactions with other creatures, how we strive to know everything even when it could be a detriment to us, it could hurt us in the process. I thought that the pacing was really well done. I know not everyone is a fan of it because they found it quite slow, but I really enjoyed the discussions between the scientists and the realizations that they have with these very dangerous, volatile, unpredictable creatures that are the mermaids. Chef's kiss. I loved it so much. And finally, number 1 goes to The Late Mrs Willowby by Claudia Gray. This is the 2nd installment in the Miss Tilney, Mr. Darcy mystery series. It's obviously a reimagining and homage to the Austen canon. It follows characters post all of Jane Austen's books in this world in which some of the characters start to die, and there is a murder investigation that's involved. Miss Tilney is the daughter from the couple in Northanger Abbey, and Mr. Darcy is the son of Pride and Prejudice's couple, and I just really loved being in this historical mystery setting. The characters are vibrant, the mystery is well plotted, and I can't wait to continue the series. I'm so invested, and yeah, I just don't think enough people read this series. The first book is The Murder of Mr. Wickham. I highly recommend that too, and I also recommend you read the books in order. You definitely have to, because if you read this, you will be spoiled for what happened in The Murder of Mr. Wickham. It was so good. And those were the top 10 books of my July and August reads. I ended up reading 25 books, as I mentioned, and I did have a range of 1 stars as well as 5 stars, but overall I'm really happy with the results, especially because I did get a handful of 5 stars, specifically in August, so I can't wait to see what happens in the fall as we get into September, October, and the like, but I feel like I'm finally out of my reading slump after June, and I am grateful for it. Thank you all so much for getting to the end. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed yourselves, be sure to like the video, comment below maybe your best book of July and August, and also consider subscribing if you had fun. Thanks to my manor guests as well, my sleuths, witnesses, suspects, and corpses. You are all so amazing, and I'm really grateful for your continued support. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!